Когда-нибудь мне поставят памятник за то, что я везу образовательный контент из Америки в русскоязычное пространство. Пока мы в Чикаго на Трейдер Экспо Money Show. Екатерина Костевич. Поехали! Это мой второй влог. Я купила себе штатив, микрофон, вся такая теперь профессиональная, буду вам записывать влоги. Перед тем, как поехать на Трейдер Экспо, я конкретно подготовилась и написала всем трейдерам, которые меня интересовали, о том, что я хочу взять у них интервью. Так вот, отличный вам лайфхак. Если вы хотите до кого-то достучаться, если вы хотите с кем-то связаться, с каким-нибудь бизнесменом, предпринимателем, я знаю, что сейчас в СНГ это очень модно, быть предпринимателем, говорить об этом, писать посты, создавать атмосферу предпринимательства вокруг себя. Это все очень важно и нужно сегодня. Здесь в Америке на самом деле происходит все то же самое. Мне кажется, что даже скоро в ID у нас будут писать типа Катя Entrepreneur, либо Катя Кабельщик. Вот. LinkedIn вам в помощь. Вот прям такая бизнес-социальная сеть, где вам, скорее всего, 95% обязательно ответят, и это так поощряется, знаете, о том, что вы переписываетесь в LinkedIn. Пишите всем в LinkedIn. В LinkedIn. В LinkedIn. LinkedIn. И когда-то у нас была история, год назад мы хотели встретиться с одним бизнесменом, который из России приехал в Сан-Франциско. И мы тогда не особо пользовались LinkedIn, и я написала ему в Инстаграм. Он встретился с нами, все круто, но он такую маленькую ремарочку сделал, типа, ну, ребят, в Инстаграме же никто не переписывается, все пользуются LinkedIn. Короче, тогда он нам рассказал, как все это нужно грамотно организовать. Я этим воспользовалась, чему я очень рада. Теперь вот передаю это вам, правила 7 рукопожатий. Итак, Чикаго. Немного отвлеклась. Этот влог я разделю на 2 части, то есть первое интервью посмотрим сегодня, а остальные интервью уже посмотрим завтра, покажу вам немного Чикаго. Не завтра, в следующий раз. Я взяла интервью у Линды Рашке. Я просто в шоке, потому что она такая крутая, она никогда не давала интервью для русскоязычного пространства, да, тем более есть профессиональные журналисты, я вообще ни разу не профессионал, но это просто супер. Когда я готовилась к этому интервью, я искала хоть что-то, знаете, типа Линда Рашке, криптовалюта в поиске у меня была. Вообще ни слова. Почему она избегает этот актив? Потому что вот все трейдеры эти крутые, которых мы с вами смотрим в Ютубе, они все такие классные, но почему-то криптовалютой они не торгуют, хотя она все время в движении, очень сильная волатильность. Почему бы не заработать много денег, правильно? Поэтому этот вопрос меня интересовал больше всего. Я постаралась вот прям... Знаете, это был мой дебют, то есть я не профессиональный журналист, поэтому где-то мой английский будет похож просто на набор слов, а где-то микрофон очень плохо делает шумоподавление, но у вас будут субтитры, вот, поэтому это будут небольшие интервью, минут по 20, там 15-20 минут, но я попыталась узнать все самое интересное, посмотрим. Внимание, вопрос. С одним из трейдеров, у которого я взяла интервью, Я сделала это специально, потому что этот трейдер мне показался фейковым. Когда вы посмотрите обе части этого влога, напишите в комментариях, какой трейдер, несмотря на все заслуги, которые я перечислила, показался вам фейковый. Вот интересно, почувствуете вы это или нет? Поэтому приятного вам просмотра. Берите бумажку, ручку, записывайте все и просто наслаждайтесь атмосферой Линды Рашке вообще, потому что она просто вот, ну, она крутая, у нее шикарная атмосфера, шикарная энергетика. Это прям видно, когда человек реализовал себя в трейдинге, что происходит, по-моему, не очень часто. Поэтому все, заканчиваю болтать. Приятного просмотра.
Forget about making the money. You're doing a good job if you make back those losses. So sometimes the best trades are making back those losses. I know all of you have been there. So just don't make so many losses. Try and make smaller losses, you know, as we get more conservative and more experienced, you know. Because that's where the professional is. You make fewer losses. Yes, of course, looking at that match in Wimbledon, one of them hits it into the net, or one of them lobs that ball way out wide, but goodness gracious, to go 5 sets in this ridiculous, insane tiebreaker, you know, here are 2 professionals, and it's just who is going to make the fewest unforced errors. Okay, that's really what it comes down to.
Okay, Linda, I'm so appreciate that you was accepted my offer to proceed this interview. Have no really need to let you introduce yourself because everyone knows you. You know, everyone know your biography. Everyone know that you're a legendary trader. There is no need to tell about yourself because everyone. This interview will be for Russian audience. They so love you, they so appreciate you know, but they don't know anything about you for Russian audience, you know, so let's talk about you and your And the first question is, you are traded from 1981, right? So you started your trading career. First question, trading from the past, trading right now, and trading in 10 years. What is the difference? What can we expect regarding the trading?
You know, it's if you look at all the old charts and the charts from 100 years ago and the charts from 50 years ago and a chart yesterday, I could pick up a stock and show you the chart and you wouldn't be able to say, oh, that was 20 years ago or that was 40 years ago. So the charts are very similar, the market behaves very similar, right? We have uptrends, downtrends, and then we form chart formations, right? Where the market's consolidating and forming these patterns. So none of that has changed. None of the basics have really changed. What has changed is the technology that we can use to make trades. Everything's so fast. The processing speeds are faster. Our execution speeds are faster. You just touch a mouse and you're filled, right? And so the way we go about our business is the biggest change. But if you were to study classical technolysis and the things that were written about, you know, well over 100 years ago, like the 1920s and 1930s, quite a lot of, you know, American authors that write, like Charles Dow and these people, you know, were writing, those things are still very similar today.
But everyone tells that algo trading today will substitute, you know, the normal trading. Like if I'm a trader, if I'm a private trader, I cannot trade on the market anymore, stock market, future option, doesn't matter which one, because algo trading and bots, you know, they are trading right now in the market. What do you think about it? There are so many.
You know, it's a lot of misconceptions because let's look at it this way. If it was so easy just to make money with, say, artificial intelligence, okay?
Right.
Let's say you have artificial intelligence and algorithmic routines programmed. So let's just say it's a closed universe and you have 5 hedge funds, $1 billion, $1 billion, $1 billion, $1 billion, and they have all the PhD programmers in the world and they all program artificial intelligence and the bots. And now they're all playing the game with each other. So you can't have all winners, right? So they're just going to be fighting with each other. So it's not all about the strategic importance of an algorithm, of course they're out there. But whereas before you might have had traders, in the pits, now we do the execution through an algorithmic strategy. So for example, if I'm managing a large sum of money, let's say I'm a mutual fund and I have to buy $50 million worth of stock by the end of the day. Well, the decision was made by a human to buy that stock to change the portfolio allocation, or perhaps it was made by a higher type of quantitative framework, right? Right. But now the computer gives the order to the algorithm, okay, we want you to buy $50 million worth of stock over the next 30 minutes, work some here, follow this algorithm routine for execution. What's the difference between that and 50 years ago when somebody called down to the broker in the New York Stock Exchange and said, my client has to buy $50 million worth of stock, can you do that over the next hour? It's the same thing. See, it's not changing.
People are making decisions, right? Not artificial intelligence like
the artificial intelligence is there for several reasons. A, we can take our human models and at least program them so we don't have the same type of human errors with our cognitive biases. But it doesn't mean that they're right 100% of the time. They're just models. And no model can predict perfectly. We can try and see what the weather is going to be like 3 days from now, but you can't predict it perfectly. And so it's the same thing with a lot of this algorithmic activity. People give it far too much credit, for what it really is. There's some things that algorithms can't process. They can only base their decision making, if you want to call it that, on a past database. Right? So everybody's looking at the same time series data from the past. Everybody, if you're artificial intelligence, if you have systematic mechanical routines, or you're a discretionary trader, we're all looking at the same past data. But it doesn't mean that any of us can see where we're going to be a week from now,
Yeah, this is true. So in 1993, you opened your first company. And after that, in 2004, which is much more interesting, you started your own hedge fund that was on 17th place right now. But today, these two companies doesn't operate anymore, so they stopped their operation. What happened? Why they're not on the market right now anymore? So you were so powerful.
Oh, I do trade every day, but I retired. Yeah, I can have a life. My dear, it takes so much time and energy with the regulatory agencies, and what happened is after...
But you could have an executive there, like some chief, for example, me or my husband.
Well, when there was so much financial turbulence in 2009, 2010, so forth, because of the abuses in the industry, and the regulation got much more time consuming. So of course, since I've always had funds, we do the audits, we work with the accountants, we work with the lawyers, a lot of paperwork and so forth. And then it just became more and more demanding time-wise. And of course, you hire people to work and do these things for you, absolutely. Had a business manager, had a tech person, a programmer, and so forth. And then what ends up happening is that you're running a business, which is fine. I really enjoyed running a business. And that's different than being an individual trader every day or just trading. Life all of a sudden was very complicated, a lot of hours, a lot of time. And I thought, maybe it's just time for me to retire.
Okay.
I'm old. I'm tired.
Look at you.
No, I'm joking. I like to joke. But the truth is that there were still a lot of things I wanted to do in my life too.
Right now.
Yeah, sure. I want to spend more time with the horses. I maybe want to travel a little bit. I want to do some more things. But of course, what am I doing? I'm sitting in front of my screens every day,
like
just trading,
traders,
right?
They think that we are trading for have a future life, or for having a better life. But even after we can manage that life, we're still trading, so we're still staying in front of our computer.
Because it's fun.
It's
an
fun, and we
addiction.
like this
Yeah.
joke, it's a drug for us, right?
It
to see
is.
all these charts 24/7. So you had, the best path of trading of one trader to become, like even one can imagine. First, you became a good trader. In Los Angeles, you were working for Pacific Stock Traders Exchange. After that, you moved and you were working to Philadelphia Stock Exchange. Then you started your own company, and after that, you created your own hedge fund. Everyone's dreaming about their own hedge fund, isn't it? And after that, you became a private trader. So, is it possible to trade for 30 years? Like, is it not?
Well, I've been trading
annoying
almost
you?
40 years.
40. So
Yeah.
sometimes people trading for 2-5 year maximum, and they stop because it's nervous to follow the chart. You don't have like weekends, anything. You just have your chart. So how do you manage to keep attention and to look forward to trading for 40 years?
Well, that's a really good question, because it's true, like any business, any sport, you can have burnout. If you try to just do one thing without outside hobbies or interests, you just get burned out.
Of course.
And that could be, I don't like using sports analogies because, with playing tennis and playing golf, you think, well, you just get slow, right? So that's different. There is an end of a career for a tennis player.
Right.
Now, maybe he goes on and coaches and teaches other people, but he's not playing a professional sport anymore. You can say with trading, we are still playing on a professional level for as many years as our brain allows us to before we get brain disease or something, right? So therefore, you do have to be careful about having other activities and things like that. But think about this. Some of the world's best pianists or violinists or musicians, right? How are they still playing and enjoying music and loving it? Maybe they don't do it every month, every year, perform. They take breaks, but they still go back to it because this is what they know.
Right.
There
is a really popular TV series. I don't know if you heard about it or even might watching it, like Billionaires. Have you heard about it?
I have heard of it. I'm probably the only person that hasn't seen it
You
yet.
have
And I
to
hear
see
it's
it.
really, really good.
Right.
Yeah.
So the serial is about Bobby Axelrod. So he's running his own hedge fund and he's quite popular and quite successful. And you had your own hedge fund as well. So we are now staying inside your hedge, inside the people who are making market, who are pushing market up or pushing market, dumping the market. And the main idea of the serial is that everything on the market is going under insiders, like
Because it's TV. Because it's a TV show.
Tell me, is it true?
No.
If you're still looking at technical analysis, or there is only way to make money using insider trading, so using like special gossip, I have no idea. So,
Well, there is absolutely no doubt that there have been abuses in the industry, as there are in all industries. I mean, there's fraud and theft in software, in technology, and if you can steal secrets or get insider information trading, I think that used to happen a lot more 20 years ago. Now it's very controlled, but I'm sure it still happens. But the point is that I don't know anybody that traded that way. That would be more of an institutional type of climate, as opposed to the floor traders and professional traders and CTAs, and I deal more in the futures markets, whereas that's more with stocks and getting advance information or release on earnings or something like that. So I never came into contact with that, nor did I ever come into contact with any people who operated in that sphere, in that world. But I'm sure it happens, you know.
It
But
happens.
you can make a lot of money without doing that stuff too.
So
Yeah.
we can make it fair, you know, without any
Yeah, of
other
course,
influence.
of
Okay.
course.
Right now you're trading futures, right?
Right.
Currencies and maybe oil, gold.
Oil, gold, natural gas, corn, bonds, S&P futures,
Okay.
NASDAQ.
We use gold as a hedge, right? So usually institutional use gold as a hedge, and now there is like quite a bull run. What do you think? When it might stop this bull run?
Well, bull run is always how far you look back. Like you can look back and see on the charts, you know, 8 years ago or 7 years ago, we're at much higher levels, right? So it's all relative to the data point that you're looking back to. You know, there was a big bull run, you know, 2006, 2007, you know, and a lot of that is created by the central banks.
Right.
So when you have central bank buying, India was a very huge buyer during that period, you know, China and so forth, that creates a long-term trend. And yes, the central banks still buy gold, not the same way that they did.
But they still do it.
Of course. And gold is still mined every day too. We're still pulling it out of the ground every day. Does it ever disappear? No. So yes, it is a type of hedge against a currency inflation, right? But other things are also hedges against currency inflation. Art, I mean, the fine art market has done much better than gold. You know, so there's different asset classes. Basically, all asset classes have been rising, being it stocks or housing or gold or art, because you've had the global increase in the monetary base, right?
So that's why you think everything is an uptrend right now.
Well, in general, you can go back and look. Every decade, we have been increasing the monetary base, and we just have done it a lot faster in the last 10 years.
What do you think about new digital goals? So, okay, let's speak about a little bit cryptocurrency. What is your opinion regarding to that? What do you think? Maybe you trade it.
I don't trade it because it's not liquid enough market for me. It still is a very new market, emerging market, and it has a lot of structural problems. I don't know if Bitcoin's even going to be around 10 years from now. You know, there's hundreds of different cryptocurrencies, and just, you know, the last month in the news, there was a lot of news about Facebook trying to start this Libra cryptocurrency. And the government's pushing back because, you know, they are thinking, well, Facebook has a presence all over the world. This actually has a chance of success, and we can't control it.
This is true.
So I am sure there is something out there in the future, but it's not going to be a viable market until you can make instantaneous transactions with it. So for example, right now, if I have a credit card, if I have a Visa or a MasterCard or cash or a check, I can make an instant transaction with it. But if I want to purchase something, there's ways that the cryptocurrencies don't allow you to do that with that speed. So they can't process billions of transactions in a very quick time. And I think until the technology improves where they can do that, it's not going to be a stable market yet. You know, they're still playing around with different formats. There's still fraud, there's still theft, you know, there's still a lot of issues with the fact that there's no security. With, you know, I am going to open up an account somewhere in a digital currency. Who's protecting me if that gets hacked and stolen? Nobody. So, you know, there's some problems still.
But what do you think? Cryptocurrency is about technology or it's about politics? So completely artificial, playing game or big money?
Oh no, it's totally about technology. The blockchain technology is incredibly powerful, and it's just changing the way business is done everywhere. The cryptocurrency is just a little teeny piece of that.
There are some people who are staying in the back of the cryptocurrency, who control cryptocurrency. Like US dollar is controlled by United States, right? Euro is controlled by European. What about the Bitcoin? It's like controlled by itself?
Well, no, it's a market. So you have supply and demand, and that's what's controlling the price movement. If too many people are long and everybody's bought, where's the price going to go? Down. When everybody's out of it and everybody is waiting to buy, where's the price going to go? Up. So it's just like currencies in that regard,
But what should you see in the cryptocurrency? Like you are like a big player, like a big trader, like a mature trader. What obstacles you have to in order to enter this market? Like in order to feel that it's secure enough in order to start investment, for example, like 401k, like other stocks. What if it will be possible to have cryptocurrency among all the other securities, like in order to invest it for a long term?
Well, I'm not going to talk about it as an investment prospect. That's a different arena. As a trader, as a professional trader, I need to have liquidity. Okay, so I need to have an active liquid market where if I want to get in,
cryptocurrency is not liquid enough?
No.
Wow, why?
Well, if I want to do just a little bit, okay, anybody can go trade a little bit, but if I want to make a trade in, say, the market like the S&P futures,
right,
I can go with one mouse click buy 600 S&P futures.
Right.
I can do millions of dollars in 1 second. If I tried to do that same size in the cryptocurrency, the market's going to do this, right?
Of course.
So there's not liquidity there, and it's not the problem putting the trade on. You can always get into a market, right? Everybody can put a trade on, but it's how fast can you get out when you want to get out and you need to get out. And that's why I don't trade in the cryptocurrencies there. And I started to see, risk, Well, it's not that I'm visible, it's just that it's going to cost me a lot to get out of that market. Okay, if you're too big in that market and you have to get out, it's going to cost you.
Of course.
And I don't like to trade in those kinds of markets where it's going to cost me to get out.
What is your favorite assets to trade?
Well, I love the index futures.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Like the S&P futures. I mean, I traded that the very first day it was listed, so it's sort of like my favorite market.
Okay. I had asked all the questions, but it was so interesting to hear you.
Well, tell me, what type of markets do you like to trade? Do you
I trade right now cryptocurrency, but I don't have so big position as you, for example.
But on the flip side of the coin, it's interesting because it does move.
It does
right?
move.
It can move very quickly.
You can make money very fast.
Exactly.
And he trade forex market.
Okay. Oh, that's a difference. That's very interesting.
So I don't know. Is yen you like prefer the most, right?
No, I do prefer British pound, of course.
Okay.
Because volatility.
Okay. So there's been a lot of interesting movement with that too.
And gold.
Okay.
But now, right now, I'm going to move. So I was trading on forex as well. Then I moved to other currency, but it's still currency. And now I finally opened my TradeStation account.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Good. Okay.
I just opened it, and I'm going to transfer a little bit to oil, to gold futures. So I'm going to trade futures. That's why it was so interesting to talk to you, because you are the best on the futures.
Well, no, I'm not the best. But what'll be nice is that I think you're so used to looking at the cryptocurrencies.
Right.
Your eye is really good with the charts and the swings and the patterns in that field. I think it is going to be a lot easier for you
me right
with
now,
the
it's
gold.
so hard.
Yeah, because
so
you're
hard.
used to it's something
Right,
different,
it's
right?
different.
But you have to figure that you are just dealing with like a very advanced market that's very erratic. Okay, sometimes it's not that well behaved, right? It doesn't always make the cleanest patterns, I mean, sometimes it does, but not always. And these other markets have noise too. but they're just a lot more liquid. So therefore, what that allows you to do, okay, here's the difference when you have good volume on a market. It makes it easier to look at different time frames. So now with your gold market, you can look at the hourly charts, you can look at 5-minute chart, you can look at daily charts. If I look at the cryptocurrencies, they make okay sense on the daily charts. We see the swings and stuff, and you can even look at the hourly data. But Lord, if I try and look at this 5-minute data, it's it doesn't make
My
any sense.
favorite one is 1 hour chart. So, but it's my maximum to go there, because once you go to 5 minutes chart, it's just jumping right and up and forward, so it's not possible to trade money there like 2 minutes.